And look, I get it. It's tempting to think that if you just had more clarity, if he had just given you the truth instead of ghosting, it wouldn't hurt as much. And maybe that's true. Maybe if he had said, hey, I just don't see this going anywhere, it would have stung for a few days, but at least you'd have closure. But let me ask you this, would it really change the outcome? Because whether he ghosted, lied, or told you the absolute truth in the most mature way possible, the result would still be the same. He wouldn't be your guy. He wouldn't be choosing you. And the reality is, the kind of man you want wouldn't have to be forced into honesty in the first place. A man who is truly ready for a relationship doesn't disappear. He doesn't lie. He doesn't avoid tough conversations. He steps up. He communicates. He respects your time, your feelings, and your energy. And the most powerful thing you can do is recognize that your time is too valuable for someone who doesn't operate at that level. Because when you start expecting emotional maturity, you start attracting emotional maturity. When you stop tolerating men who ghost or lie, you make space for the men who don't. And the moment you stop chasing the potential in someone and instead start choosing people who are already emotionally available, everything changes. So if he ghosted, if he lied, if he left you wondering what the hell happened, don't chase answers. Don't try to make sense of immaturity. Just remember this, a great woman deserves a great man, and a great man doesn't run. Some men ghost or lie not because they're bad people, but because they want to keep their options open. They like the attention, they enjoy the excitement, but they're not truly committed. And rather than be upfront about it, they choose the path of least resistance, keeping you around just enough so they don't lose you, but never really stepping up to claim you. Think about it. If someone is truly invested in you, they won't risk losing you over ambiguity. They'll want to make things clear, define where they stand, and give you the security of knowing they are present. But when someone is unsure about you, they tread this middle ground. They give just enough to make you feel special, just enough to keep you hoping, just enough to keep you engaged, but not enough to make you feel safe. And that's where ghosting or lying becomes their way out. This isn't about you lacking something. It's not that you weren't good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, or fun enough. In fact, it's usually the opposite. You are someone who brings value, who brings substance, and that makes them hesitate. Because when a man isn't ready for something serious, when he's not ready to truly commit, he sees a woman with real depth and starts to panic. Not because you're intimidating, but because choosing you means closing doors. It means giving up the casual, the easy, the low-effort connections that require nothing from him. And for someone who is still playing the field, that's terrifying. So instead of having the decency to say, I'm not looking for anything serious, or I don't think I can give you what you deserve, they'll avoid that conversation altogether. Because if they tell you the truth, they risk you walking away. They risk losing your energy, your affection, your presence in their life. And for a man who thrives on attention but doesn't want responsibility, that's not a risk he's willing to take. This is why you get mixed signals. One day, they're all in, texting, calling, making you feel like the most important person in the world. The next day, they pull away, disappear, or act distant.